Glenn, I appreciate you being here. So Glenn's background, you guys that don't know him, he had a really successful contractor business prior to moving on to Mitsubishi Electric, and now he's a successful area sales manager. And Glenn, we're just chit-chatting, right, a little bit to kind of figure out, man, how can we serve and help other contractors, right? But first of all, thank you for agreeing to do this, man. Appreciate your time today.
Yep, not a problem. I'm glad to do it.
Yep.
I do definitely believe in your product, Sales Builder Pro. So.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. So you've helped two contractors like totally and completely transform their businesses. Kind of before we get to their victories, if you don't mind kind of painting a picture, what was at stake? And I can't mention their names, you guys, for this particular recording. I'm just going to call one of them ABC HVAC and XYZ Heating and Cooling. So kind of what was at stake for those guys when you first met them, right? As far as what they were doing and what process or no process, what they were doing.
The first company that I brought the product to was a smaller business. Owner did a lot of the proposals, estimating. Also, he brought on a salesman, and they were kind of still handwriting their proposals. Wanted to grow their Mitsubishi Electric sales, and one of the biggest parts of the Sales Builder Pro platform is having Diamond System Builder built into it, to where they could easily create multiple option proposals, know that the systems were being designed properly. And so that really intrigued them. And then they decided to look into the product and decided to bring it on.
Take a minute and think about when that moment when a homeowner is excited about ductless, right, about Mitsubishi Electric, but the contractor can't quote it on the spot. Man, what happens right then at the kitchen table if he can't do that? What happens?
Well, their confidence drops. The homeowner's confidence in that contractor drops. They can do a great presentation, walk through everything. That homeowner, you've built up the anticipation, you've gone over, you've designed a system with them, and then they want to know. They want to know immediately, and that's the most critical part about this.
Before you became a successful area sales manager with Mitsubishi Electric, you yourself had a super successful contractor business. What made you decide Sales Builder Pro was the answer for your guys, right? Your two companies we're talking about, but maybe share briefly, maybe your story a little bit about, why you picked us as your tool when you had a business.
Oh, sure. Again, I wasn't the owner of the business, but I went to work for them. I was with the company for 26 years. When I left the company, I was the sales manager.
Okay.
And in that time frame of starting in those 26 years, I started to get into the sales side of it. We were doing pen and paper.
Sure. Yep.
Yep. Mistakes constantly, things misspelled. Pro was introduced to me. I was still, like a lot of contractors, man, it takes so long to build the back end. I don't have time for it. So I went about probably a year on. Yes, it took a little while to build the back end, but immediately there's a couple things that I noticed. The amount of time that I was spending creating proposals dropped by probably 80%.
Okay.
You're sitting there hand typing out all these, even if you have templates, you're going back and correcting easily by 80%. We immediately saw an increase in closure rate by 10 to 12%. I can't remember the exact amount.
Okay.
And gross margin jumped almost 5%.
When you introduced Sales Builder Pro to these two contractors that had a lot of success, number one, were they skeptical? And then I know the answer, I think. Number one, were they skeptical? Number two, maybe what was their biggest fear in bringing us on, I guess?
I would say, I would say no, they weren't so skeptical. They were intrigued. They knew they needed something. It was the concern of the time of the creation of the back end.
There must have been a moment when everything clicked for those guys. And again, we're still talking about the first contractor that you had mentioned that doubled their Mitsubishi Electric ductless sales. Can you even describe that first successful, like on the spot quote where they won a job? Did they get back to you, or were you happen to Were you there with them when they quoted and actually sold a ductless job on the spot, which before, like you said, it may be 2 or 3 days before they could even send an email with the quote? Like,
No, to be honest with you, they did in the next round of meetings I had, just follow-up meetings, like the next quarter. The salesman for that company was there, and the salesman came up and thanked me.
I was going to say ABC HVAC doubled their sales, right? You told me that, we established that. But beyond the numbers, how did it change the actual owner's life? And you touched on the comfort advisor, but how about the owner? How did doubling sales change his life?
Oh, without a doubt. Actually, what it did is it made his organization more profitable. And, you know, it was one of the pieces of the puzzle in the evolution of his organization and the evolution of what his vision was, that he wanted to kind of get out of the HVAC industry. He was ready to sell. He wanted to get that, and bringing it on and making them profitable actually shortened the time for him to be able to sell.
Now we're going to talk about XYZ quadrupled their Mitsubishi Electric ductless sales, which is insane, incredible. What did they tell you about how their customers, right, at the kitchen table reacted to getting instant professional quotes instead of, hey, I'll send you an email in 2 to 3 days?
They were typing out their proposals.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that was the struggle. And again, talking about Sales Builder Pro with this new comfort advisor being interviewed and coming in, it was really stress to the owner on how much Sales Builder Pro did for him at the previous company and did for their closure rate. So that's more of the, I think, the storyline here.
As a successful area sales manager with Mitsubishi Electric, to see a contractor too, in this case, go from struggling to like literally thriving, that's gratifying, I would imagine, right?
Oh, without a doubt, it's gratifying. It's taking what I know and what I experienced, and now I can see somebody else experiencing it.
Another Mitsubishi Electric TM or area sales manager nationwide who knows the same contractor struggles that you just described with your other two guys. What would be your advice to them as we go forward, as we conclude the interview here in just a second?
Well, my advice to them would be just stay diligent. You know, talking to both of these contractors I'm talking about mentioned Sales Builder Pro. Did they jump on it right away? No.
Last thing, how can somebody reach out, like your Mitsubishi Electric peers, and learn more about getting Sales Builder Pro for their contractors, right? How are you going to tell them to do that?
Basically reach out to their area sales manager. All the diamond contractors know them.